Maria Hill has arrived in Marvel's Strike Force as part of the Secret Avengers team, but who is buying her? I don't know, Goofy. We're going to discuss that. Also, we're going to discuss Captain Sam. The question that a lot of the community is asking, is Captain Sam better than Adam Warlock? I don't know the answer to that one either, but we are going to discuss that. And there's new tags, according to the Datamine, that is coming to Gamma. But is this a good or a bad thing? We're talking about all of that. And if you guys are ready for it, Goofy, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, well, let everybody else know what to do if they're ready.
Let's go whale on Maria Hill. Nah, never mind.
Okay.
ValleyFlyin.
Valley Maniacs, what is up? I hope you're having a great day. It is once again that time of the week, that time for your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update. Today, I am joined by my brother GoofyRhexxi with one of the Rexiest, sexiest hats out there, my friend. That is very smooth. How are you? That is a good one. That is a really, really good one. How are you, my friend? It has been a while.
I am doing very well, man. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little under the weather, but I think it's just the summer kind of kids get a cold. You catch the cold, the whole house gets a little bit of cold type thing. But nothing that a little whiskey won't take care of every now and then.
Oh my goodness, we're going hardcore right at the beginning. All right. That all right. I get no comment. I could go off in a different direction there.
Sorry.
Let's just keep it with MSF because we were just talking how we always talk and catch up, and then we start talking about MSF. Like, no, we got to just talk about it in a video. So That's what we're doing here. We're doing a catch up 40 in front of you guys. So I guess we were talking about how much fun we're having in Marvel Strike Force first. We got our normal topics, but I do want to start off with this. How much fun are you having? I was recently, before we started recording, I was talking about how I, over the past few weeks, moved to a more casual alliance, and I'm having a lot more fun right now, but I'm also not really pushing on anything. There's nothing really for me to push for in Doom or War or anything like that. So it's a double-edged sword. But how much fun are you having in Marvel Strike Force right now?
Yeah, so I'm kind of in a similar boat. I'm enjoying the game. I'm probably enjoying it a little bit more than I was, let's say, 3-4 weeks ago. Okay. Which, by the way, was when Future Revolution was released, right?
There's a thing there. That's actually when I moved to a casual alliance as well.
Yeah. So it's kind of one of those things where one game is satisfying a need, and I'm feeling good there. And in this game that I've been playing for a while, I'm starting to look at it a little bit differently. There's still a lot of frustration with certain things, and we're going to talk about this in this video. But overall, I am still having fun, but definitely can see why maybe others aren't having as much fun if they are still kind of pushing content in this game. I can definitely see it.
I think I'm there pretty much with you. I gotta say though, there's a lot. Actually, let me just say to stop. You said you were having more fun in this game 3 weeks ago. What prompted that change? What is different about Strike Force now than 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, so I think it's just like I said, man. It's just the fact that from Future Revolution, there's a need that I've been longing for, more content. Okay. Things that are that you kind of get to do as opposed to have to do. That's kind of the grind of Marvel Strike Force right now, right? Future Revolution for me is not at that place yet. It probably will get there eventually, but it's not at that place right now. It's still new. It's still fresh to me. It's to where Marvel Strike Force, a lot of the things that it's redundant. A lot of the stuff that you're doing is redundant. The new content just seems to be new characters. It's not necessarily a lot of other fun things to do. But I think my alliance is although we're not, I wouldn't say that we're casual, we're competitive, but we're not as competitive as maybe some of these top tier alliances are. We also understand that it's summertime, real life is going on. So we're kind of pushing it as we need to. And, we kind of pump the brakes also and say, hey man, you gotta go take care of your family. You gotta go take care of this or whatever. So I think I think Future Revolution kind of maybe helped to make Strike Force a little bit more fun, I guess. Gotcha.
Okay. And gotta say, a lot of the problems that I was very, very upset about in Strike Force are still there. They're still present, but I'm just looking at it in a different light. I'm not as passionate about it, not as excited. And I think some of that is related to Future Rev. So let's move on to something going on in the game right now. Maria Hill. We talked about her. She arrived sort of in Marvel Strike Force. We have a thing about her coming soon. Normally when we get this message in game that a character is coming soon, there's an offer associated with the character. We could buy the character, test her out. There's no offer, but she is sort of available for players. If we go to the supply section now, she's in the scam part of the supply section for 800 cores, kind of like they did with Moondragon. Now, Moondragon, I think you can make a little justification for that insane cost, because yes, still very, very pricey, right. But Moondragon satisfied an important piece of that Infinity Watch team, a team that we didn't have, that satisfied a need for the arena offense and defense and filling out that team. I still don't know what need Maria Hill fills, and if I'm being frank, I still don't know what the need that the Secret Avengers team fills out, because they're designed to finish the Doom Raids or the skill section of Doom Raids. Most players that are in the Doom Raids already have a solution for that. So, who is buying Maria Hill right now?
People who have a fear of missing out. I guess, right? Those are the ones who are. Maybe they want to try the character out right now and get them leveled up, but I couldn't really justify spending 800 cores. I feel like Maria Hill's, and don't get me wrong, like I'm not saying that she's a bad character at all. I think she's probably the third best character on a 3-team Secret Avenger team.
She's not bad, but she's a third out of 3 characters.
It didn't sound that good after I said it.
She's okay. She's okay. The problem is in the character. The problem is the character. It's what need does she fill that's not already being filled by other characters that are a little more available in the game?
Right.
And I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know what she does that other characters that you can farm, because there's no way to get her shards. Even if you're spending these cores, other than spending cores, there's no way to get shards for her. So
yes. I think the answer that Secret Avengers will provide, and I think I mentioned this probably in a previous video, is if you don't have a team for these Doom Raids already, for skill Doom Raids, then this is a team that you can probably go after getting. Just keep in mind that you're gonna have to spend some money to do it, because they're all new characters. Maria Hill is a Blitz release, so GL, good luck. The other aspect of this too is, to a certain extent, I do already have an answer for the skill Doom Raids, but I can see where the challenge might be Doom 1.1 if we eventually start doing it. So maybe Secret Avengers is probably a better option. And from my understanding, Secret Avengers actually provide, at least Sharon Carter and Captain Sam right now are providing some really, really solid value. There, Captain Sam is a stat monger. And of course, Sharon Carter, there's some synergy there. Obviously, there's great synergy there. Defense downs, if you're using Kestrel, that provides another value answer for you too. So I feel like they're a good team. It's just a weird timing, I think, in where the game is right now. Yeah.
And 2 of the more recent Marvel properties solving the same issue. The Black Widow characters solving the skill section of Doom, and then the Falcon and Winter Soldier characters solving the skill section of Doom. It's kind of weird that they chose to release things like this, and it kind of illustrates that where was the plan in 2021? My goodness, it's just kind of absent. That's kind of why we're in the situation right now is what I think. But let's talk about this, because she still is bugged. It's a very minor bug. It's a text bug. It's a text only bug. It doesn't really affect too much as far as the gameplay, and most people honestly won't even notice this, because this is for the upgrade at level 2. I know when I upgrade new characters, I take them into 6664 right away. So I wouldn't just skip past this, not notice this. But I think the bigger thing with this text bug is just what is going on with this attention to detail of Scopely, because not only did we get this minor bug, and I'm not even going to talk about it, it's so minor, but we got some of these more you could see these bugs. These bugs are going to make a difference when you see them for Captain Sam, because he also had some bugs upon release, and 2 of them are visual bugs. One of them, I'm not sure. I'm going to have you put on your tinfoil hat on this one, but let me read these first 2 that were just visual. I talked about this last week, but the second one we didn't talk about. So the Stars and Stripes, the level 7 upgrade is just missing text, gaining time for 2 turns. It says only 1 turn in the game, but when you upgrade it, the 2 turns is there. So that's a visual text bug. not that big of a deal, not game breaking, but it just kind of shows their lack of attention to detail. This is also another visual bug, and I do want to get your thoughts on this one, but the upgrade text for level 4 and level 5 for his Captain's Legacy move indicates that he gets 5% max health. It should read as 10% max health. This is just a visual bug, and I think when you upgrade this, it upgrades to the proper levels what it should be. This is the controversial one, though. This is the one that, for me, they've said stuff in the past, and I'm just gonna say that I'm gonna take this one at face value. Believe them. I don't know if I should based on some of the things they said, but what it say? Yeah, I know you're questioning me. I'm choosing to be positive. I'm going against my better instincts to be positive about this one, but all right, it says Freedom Flight. The text is getting clarification to how this grants speed bar. The ability first deals damage, then for each remaining enemy, it will grant speed bar for each remaining character still standing. So the new text is going to read, attack all enemies for 450% damage. For each enemy remaining, fill the speed bar for self and skill allies by 10%, for each enemy speed bar for all enemies by 5%. And they said that this is something that they've changed the text description to make it more clear of what's happening. What are your thoughts on this? Did they change this after the fact because they couldn't get it to work, kind of like they did with the Hawkeye and the Yondu bug, or the text description is not working properly in the past? Or is it really supposed to work like this and they're changing the text? What are you leaning towards right now?
Oh, I definitely don't think that this was their intent. I think that the way
not intended, okay.
Yeah, because how in the world could the developers intend this to be the case unless the gentleman in the Strike Time video lied, right? Because I think there was a video, Strike Time, Cerebro asked a question. Okay, well, it's going to be based on the enemies that are on the other side of the field. He never said it was going to be enemies remaining. So therefore, there's no possible way that they intended it to do this. It seems as if though it kind of nerfed him, right? That a little bit because it's for each remaining enemy.
Yeah, you're not getting as much speed. That could be a big amount of speed, right? If you're killing enemies, that's not a good thing because that's 10% less for the entire team.
Yeah, especially in Doom raids where you do have a significant amount of characters. Captain Sam is a stat monger. Now, not an insane amount of damage, but good enough damage, 450%, where you could definitely kill a character, right, and then lose that 10%. So I think it's a pretty big deal, and something that. And another thing, not just the ultimate too, with the special ability. The upgrade to get it to 2 taunts, that's one part of it. They still haven't addressed the aspect of the fact that before you upgrade it to level 7, it says that you get a 50% chance to get an assist. But when you actually upgrade it to level 7 in MSF.GG, it reads that you get 100% chance to get the assist. So they also still haven't even changed that part of the special either. So
maybe they don't even know that it's broken. I
don't think they know that. It probably works fine in game, but the way that it reads is not.
Oh, the text.
That will prevent somebody from making a decision to upgrade, which is why when I did my tier 4 video, I did it based on what was in game, and I'm like, oh, it's okay as an upgrade, not really necessary. But obviously, the 2 taunts for 2 turns. The taunt for 2 turns is a big deal, and then also being able to get the 100% chance to assist is also a big deal, especially on a special ability that has pretty low cooldown. So it's attention to detail. It's confusing, conflicting messaging. It's conflicting messages. The Strike Time video, the information that was written out to say that it was intended that it was for each enemy remaining. Those 2 things don't add up. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. And I think this is definitely a problem by not paying attention to your little details. Yeah. But I mean, there's this bug with Maria Hill. I mean, there's this text errors with Maria Hill. We got 2 just on Captain Sam. I'm gonna give him the benefit of doubt and say this is due to incompetence and not malice. I may be wrong on that. And honestly, I don't know which one's worse. Being incompetent and having this many bugs or trying to nerf these characters because they can't figure. I don't know what's worse, but I think this is due to incompetence, not malice. But I guess the important question is, does this change the way Sam works? Does this change your impression of Sam?
No, it doesn't change my impression. I still think he's a great character, and I think that he's definitely worth investing. I am a little concerned about how good he actually is. Like, I love Captain Sam. I was probably gonna get the character anyways, whether or not he was important, just because it's just I like certain characters from Marvel.
Yeah.
But this doesn't necessarily change it. It just makes it feel weird because it doesn't. You intended something to work one way and then it didn't work that way. And
I don't know. It's hard to know their intention though, because they may have intended it to work this way and just were very sloppy with the way they wrote it. And they're like, all right, this is actually how, or it could have been like the Yondu and Hawkeye thing. Like, all right, we want it to work this way. Oh, we don't know how to get it to work that way. Let's just change the text. Both are very likely considering scope.
It is very likely, and you're right. It could just literally be incompetence. We saw this with the last patch with Misty Knight and Colleen Wing. Misty Knight, she worked fine in war,
every
but
character,
outside of war,
let's be honest, Goofy. Every character for the longest time has something broken with them, something minor or something major. But it's been I don't know, but I'm not remembering a character that has not arrived broken for a long time now.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair.
All right. You want to move on to talk about Captain Sam more?
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about it. He is this Battle Pass character. He's the new Battle Pass character, arrived as replacing Misty Knight. Now, I got to be honest. I don't think I was paying attention. I think I missed this last silver promotion credits in that for the Misty Knight place. I didn't realize this was starting. Future Rev got me a little distracted in this game. But what did you think of him as a Battle Pass or Strike Pass release character? We've had Silver Surfer, which I guess made sense because he's so good. We had Silver Surfer again. Then we had Misty Knight, which is a little confusing. What do you think of Sam Wilson being released this way?
I don't like it. It gives, so Polaris was there before, right? And she was required for a legendary.
Polaris 2 times. Not two times. You're right. So Silver Surfer, 2 Polaris, and then Misty. Yeah.
I don't like it because I feel like it limits the opportunity for players to be able to get charged, which is probably their intent, right? They want you to spend money so that you can get the characters. They felt as if though they had a very successful release with Silver Surfer. So they've continued to try this release method with these newer characters that are in the game. I do think that it limits other players. Like I always say, like people always say, well, free to play players shouldn't expect to get things anyways. Well, in fairness, free-to-play players are in 2 different categories. I always put it this way. You have your earlier free-to-play characters, and then you also have your launch day free-to-play characters or long-term free-to-play characters as well.
Players.
What did I say? Characters?
Yeah.
Am I saying players?
I always do that as well. I just don't always notice it. This time I do. But yeah.
My bad. Players.
I knew what you meant.
but you have long-term that could grind out a Blitz, that could grind out, an event campaign, that could grind out gold milestones if they ever chose to go back in that direction again. Like you have players who who can grind that stuff out. Yeah. And when you're doing it through Strike Pass, you're limiting the amount of shards that players can get. And I just feel like it's not the right way to release characters. I think it's a good way for you to get additional shards for characters that are already in the game. But for newer characters, I don't like the release method at all.
And we've been talking about release methods. Is this the worst one? We've had milestone characters. We have gold milestone characters, which I don't know if we're going to get a new one. It looks like they're just changing up the orbs and maybe there's no gold milestone characters anymore. Yeah. Blitz release characters, event release characters, and then the Strike Pass release characters. Is this the worst release method?
I don't know.
In your opinion?
I don't know if it's the worst. It's probably the one that I like the least. Let's put it that way. I don't know if it's the worst one. It's the one that I dislike the most.
I think this is the one that gives the fewest shards.
It is. So probably if you put it in that category, it's the worst. Yeah.
Yeah. 50 for people that don't spend money, 100 for people that do spend money. I don't know if it's a good deal. $20. That's not that expensive, but
it's not.
I don't like this. I don't like it. I don't like it either. It's not a great release method. Now,
no.
So yeah, Captain Sam, we're getting some tech thugs for him. But let me ask you the question about Captain Sam that a lot of people are asking right now: is he better or worse than Adam Warlock? What is your opinion? Have you used him enough to know?
No, so I didn't really. My Captain Sam is exactly where yours is, level 65, gear tier 12.
Okay.
I didn't pull the same amount of red stars that I got. Same thing, right? I'm in literally probably the exact same where yours is right now. So I haven't really played it much. until I get more shards through the strike pass, I'm probably not going to invest into him for these Doom raids. I did, however, see an interesting video by another one of our fellow content creators, RemenX, with him using Captain Sam on the Infinity Watch team.
I think that prompted the question in the community, that video that he made. So what was your conclusion after watching that? Would you prefer to have a big Captain Sam, which I don't know if it's possible now, so I don't even know if this is a valid question, or would you prefer to have a big Adam Warlock on that team? Which based on what you saw there, which do you think is a more important character to have?
In all honesty, when I watched the video, the only thing Captain Sam does perform, gives you some more flexibility, I guess, in terms of like who you can target and who you can kind of pick on in a matchup. Okay. So, and of course, because there are some other skill characters there, Gamora, Moondragon, there is some synergy there. There is some additional health, things like that they so makes them a little bit tougher. But Adam Warlock does give them the safeguard, does give them the immunity, and also let's talk about, I'm lazy. I can auto once I get to a certain point with Infinity Watch, man. Okay. So Captain Sam is just more clicks for me, right? So yes, he works. I don't necessarily know if he's better. Both can win. It's just more clicking with Captain Sam. So therefore, I'll prefer to go with Adam Warlock because I just want to get the arena matchup done anyways. So
hey, that is a very valid reason. It makes sense. The more efficiency. Adam Warlock is the more efficient character based on what he's seen. So yeah, and I think Adam Warlock was designed for that team. The safeguards, the stuns, the ability blocks. I think it's this, and Captain Sam, he has some good things too. He wasn't designed for that team. I think it would be very strange if he was better. But yeah, those 4 Infinity Watch, you could use a lot of different characters in that 5th spot.
I was going to say, like, however, it does provide you, if you are going to wail out on Captain Sam or Dolphin out, whatever it is, you do have an option to use him with, if you didn't unlock Adam Warlock, right? So you can now use Captain Sam on that team. You could also, in the same breath, use Kestrel.
I think. I was gonna say, I guess, if you had that team and don't have Kestrel, you could use. Yeah, you could say Sam. I guess that would be the better question, right? Who is better, Kestrel or Captain Sam as the 5th on that team? I don't have the characters to do that testing. I don't know if RemenX has his characters built up to do that testing as well, but I guess let's promote his channel. If someone's gonna do the testing, he's probably gonna do the testing on it. But yeah, that's it for Captain Sam. Good character. I don't know if he's better than some of the other characters in the game right now. Let's talk about the event that's going on for his Secret Avenger mate for Sharon Carter. This conspiracy theories event. Anything stand out about this event to you? We got tie-in with Captain America. We got some decent characters, but a lot of these events for me personally, there's just a lot of autoing and they're just farming every day. How is this event for both? I mean, you got 2 accounts, right? So how is this account on for each account? Your larger account, and how did it feel as? And I don't know if it's a beginner account anymore. Would you consider that smaller account a beginner account or more of a mid-game account at this point?
We just got Ultron, so it's more of a mid-game account now, I guess I should say, because that's what I consider to be the mid-game point. Okay. It was really easy, right? Because you have, I mean, look at the characters that you have available to be able to get this done, man. It's insane. If you're an earlier player, you have Nebula and Gamora available to you, which are pretty easy for you to get in terms of characters. I mean, you just it's insane.
There's a lot here.
If you start off with Wave 1 Avengers, you have Black Widow. You can use Black Widow. You have Kestrel. I mean, there's Zemo. That's easily. I mean, this event was. I will say this: one of the and maybe I'm misspeaking, but I think it was probably one of the more friendly events to do in terms of being able to get through the hard nodes, because a lot of the characters that you need to get it done are fairly easy to get. With respect to probably Kestrel, but if you have Nebula and Gamora, I mean, you can probably still walk through it too.
Is that what helped you with your lower level account? Get through this, the Gamora and Kestrel, pretty much.
Gamora, Kestrel, Nebula, and Ghost.
Okay.
Minerva. I mean, it was a cakewalk.
Nice. All farm. Unfortunately, a lot of them in the war store, but all farmable. A lot of them farmable in that section. So yeah, this is good. And this is one thing that I would like. And let me. I've talked to other people about it. I haven't talked to you. What I would like as kind of an end game player is an event when these come around, being able to play these, have some challenge for these. So you're getting all this stuff, all this hard mode. In addition to the hard mode, maybe like an extreme mode, and not for character shards. So you're not limiting the character shards for people that aren't able to do that, whatever the extreme mode is, but just some kind of minimal reward so that I could take my stronger characters and be like, oh, I got to use strategy to beat this. This is fun, rather than just auto. Would that entice you, or would that just be more work for you? How would you feel about that?
Honestly, actually would appreciate it a little bit, just being able to try to test out some of my higher power characters. Like on the main account, this was I could probably just go in with Kestrel alone and auto it, right? Like that was perfect.
Oh my goodness. Is that how strong she is?
I mean, she's 133k. I mean, this would have been a
yeah, I mean, yeah, we're looking at this. Look at this final note. The boss, the characters. So yeah, 33k is the strongest character there. Yeah, 100 something. Yeah, but you could probably auto it with just Kestrel alone.
Yeah, if they were to add some like extreme hard mode to it, don't do it for. Don't give an abundance of reward. Just make it be something very, very, very minuscule, just so that we could have a little bit more fun in the game. That's really all it is. And you can, once you get built up, you can go and do it yourself, but still make sure that the main rewards are still for the regular levels, the easy, the medium, and the hard. And then extra hard is just for people who just want to do some extra content
to play. I don't want that for rewards. I mean, you need some rewards to play it. You need something. But I don't need crazy rewards to widen the gap between longtime players and earlier players. I just want content to play. That's what I want. Exactly. But all the main stuff, keep it exactly like it is. Just add something additional, and that's what I would want. And let me know your thoughts, guys. Last week talked about some quality of life changes. This is one I forgot about. For these events, they're not exciting if you've been playing this, because this is just auto and farm. This is not. Like, I don't know if you remember back in the early days when these events first came around, like, oh man, which characters am I going to use? What strategy am I going to use in order to beat this? Remember, you actually have to use strategy to beat this at some point in the game. That's what I missed. That's what I want to see. So that's what I feel about that.
The last one that was the hardest one for me was Taskmaster, or that was the one where I'm like, I couldn't even do hard mode. And that was because I had such a small account back then. I just didn't have the characters available. Every other event campaign since then hit auto and walk away.
What, a year and a half ago? 2 years maybe? Oh no, I'm remembering that right. A year ago, year and a half maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, 2020. All right. So in addition to this, kind of like the Moondragon event, where Moondragon, you had a Loki costume. We're getting a Captain America costume along with a Sharon Carter event. And what have you looked at the calculations for this? Because a lot of the complaints from the Loki event was too hard. You cannot miss a day. You cannot miss anything, or you're getting screwed out of the costume. Have you looked at the calculations on this to see how friendly you are? I mean, I'm hearing that this is a much better organized event, the silver stuff, but what are you seeing about the exact calculations on this? How friendly is this event compared to the Loki event?
So I remember, I feel like I did the calculations on it. To get all the milestones, I do think you need to spend more than 400 cores in order to be able to get it done, to get all 24 milestones. So I think that was the math that I did. But in order for you to be able to get enough of the silver phase bits to get the costume, you only need to get to milestone 19, which would equate to you only needing to spend 200 cores per day in order to be able to get it done for the event. So from that perspective, it's easy to get at least easy to get the costume. To get all the phase bits, it's harder, but I don't necessarily know if that matters to you or not, right? Because you're gonna only spend 50k of them to get the costume, and then the rest of them are just gonna be converted into 60%
credits. Yeah. So maxing this out, this would be for the people that want those costume credits to get those other costumes in the game, like the Deadpool and Elektra. But Yeah, if you're not having to spend too much, and for these events, I recommend, you know, there's certain things to spend a core on. These events when they come around, this is something good to save your cores on. So I would recommend spending on this event on these type of events anyway, even if it's not a character that you're going hard on, like Sharon Carter for me. But yeah, I think it's good. It's good that you could unlock the Cap outfit easier than the Loki. I think they've learned from that mistake at least. And if you want to push harder to get some extra, some excess, so you can get some build up your costume credits, you can. So I'm happy with this event. I think they've learned the mistake of the Loki event. Any other thoughts on this before we move on?
Yeah, and even if you don't you don't necessarily care about the costume, but you just want to get the gear, you can spend even less cores, right? Just to be able to get, because I think it was a milestone 17. It's the last piece of gear. That you get
let's look at that. Yeah.
So
that sounds right.
You don't need to even. You may only need to spend 150 cores. Or 100 cores in order to be able to get to 17. So you can spend even less. Like I said, I don't remember the specific number on that. When I did the calculations, I did it on how much I would need to be able to get the 50 silver phase bits so I could get the costume, and at milestone 19 is all you need to get to in order to be able to do that.
That's way friendlier than Loki. I think the Loki, just to get that costume, you had to go into the 100 refreshes a couple times every single day for that. And that's in addition to the 50s. So much better. I like this better. All right. So what else do we get? Well, we got some new farmable characters this week. We had Kitty Pryde making her way to the raid store. So that's a good one. And she's popped up once for me already. We also had Coulson being added to the Blitz store. And I'm glad that he got to the Blitz store, not that stupid Blitz orb. I don't know why Domino is still in that. But two good things that happened. We also, we'll talk about this Kestrel thing, but what are your thoughts on Coulson and Kitty Pryde being added to both of those stores being farmable for anybody that wants them?
Yeah, so I actually took a step further in thinking about this. So Kitty Pryde going to the raid store, cool. Coulson going to the Blitz store, cool, right? That's okay.
It's an easy store. It's not a necessary character. It's cool to put him there. Yeah.
It's not bad. I mean, in the raid store, if you're earlier on in the game or probably at the mid game point, you're probably still opening up raid orbs as opposed to target farming characters there anyways, because you're just getting better value either by opening up your actual raid orbs. 1400 credits can kind of be a little difficult to get if you're not 100%ing these raids, right? So I think you're probably just opening up raid orbs. So it's nice that she's there. Coulson being in the Blitz store, he's still okay to use, but he's not necessarily sought out the character, so having him in there in the Blitz store is good. He might become a little bit more relevant later on though in the game.
But it's the Blitz store. Just throw those characters in the Blitz store. That's cool.
Exactly. What I thought made this a little bit more interesting to me, to be honest with you, is that currently right now Bishop is in the RTA pass. And their practice is that after a character goes into the RTA pass, that they usually then throw that character into some sort of area to be farmed.
They've thrown it into Arena Store. They haven't announced it officially, but I think all of the characters have went to the Arena Orb and then moving that out. So hopefully they follow that trend with this. But let me see where this conspiracy is going.
So I'm wondering if there's a possibility that maybe they're trying to prepare. They're basically saying, hey, Bishop is not going to go to the Blitz store. Bishop's not going to go to the raid store. I'm not quite sure if him going to the Arena store is going to be their practice on this one. So I'm curious as to whether or not I suspected that potentially they might have been moving Bishop to the premium orbs, but Kestrel went there. So I'm curious as to where they're going to be putting Bishop now. And that was more of, it was like a process of elimination for me when I looked at the raid store, when I looked at the Blitz store. I'm curious as to whether or not Bishop might actually be going to a node at some point. That was kind of more what I thought about. But that completely conspiracy. It could end up being the Arena store, but I feel like the Arena store is kind of getting a little crowded right now, or the Arena Orb is getting a little crowded. So I don't feel like Bishop is going to go there.
If he does go there though, that would move one of the characters out. It would move another character down. Shatterstar's in there now, and that would move Shatterstar out. That would move Scream to the next section of the increased cost. That would move Red Guardian down to the normal cost if that happened. So that wouldn't be the worst thing. I still don't think I would farm that orb, even though I want Bishop Stars. I'm going to wait for him to be that increased cost, but if that is their pattern, that means that probably the next battle pass after Bishop will go through that orb, and that means Bishop will get out of that orb. If that happens, I think if that happens with Bishop, we'll have enough of a pattern that we could say that's probably how it's going to happen. I don't think we've had enough of a trend. I think it's been the past 2 or 3, but I don't think it's enough of a trend to say this is how Scopely is doing. And if they've never announced it, then they could switch it up at any time. So,
and here's the reason why I don't think Bishop will go to the arena orb is because I don't think that they're gonna want to take Shatterstar out of the arena orb and put him in the story yet, because he's tied towards a legendary. I just don't see them doing that quickly. It would be
devil's advocate though. Maybe they've made Polaris and Multiple Man earlier sooner than a lot of these other characters. Maybe they make him available sooner because he is a legendary unlock character.
It would be player friendly kind of.
Yeah, that's not the MO of Scopely, but there are some logic from both ways. We'll see what happens. I guess we're gonna find out a lot after Bishop gets out of this battle pass. But let's go back and talk about Kestrel. Moondragon going to the Elite Store, whatever. But Kestrel, I thought this was whatever as well. Going to the premium exclusive. We knew she'd be hard to farm at some point. I thought Silver Surfer we'd be able to get Silver Surfer before Kestrel. I think that's the only surprise. But in addition to this, we also got some other information about Cull. And we didn't get information, but we got some news about Nobu. So what is your initial impression about this news right here when we got this on Friday, while I find the inbox message for Kestrel and her availability? There it is.
Oh, so my initial thoughts on Kestrel going to the premium orb?
Yeah. Did this prompt anything like, hey, oh, this is a big news story for you at all? Or is this like, oh yeah, she's going there?
So the only thing was, hey, where's Silver Surfer? I feel like Silver Surfer should have been made available earlier than Kestrel was, although Kestrel being in the premium orb is not necessarily being available at a 2% drop rate with 130 plus characters in there. So not quite sure that that's necessarily making her available, but I definitely thought Silver Surfer should have been there quicker than she was. I also thought that, and also especially since Silver Surfer right now is still only available to a certain amount of players. Everybody gets premium orbs, right? So you can open up premium orbs. You could get lucky with some Kestrel shards, which I actually did get lucky with some Kestrel shards. Still have yet to get any AV shards since he's gone there, by the way. Just want to point that out.
But he has an increased drop rate, Goofy.
Exactly. So I got Kestrel, but I didn't get AV. What the hell? She just got added. Oh, man.
Well, you know what? I'd rather have Kestrel than AV or Silver Surfer or a lot. I think Kestrel.
I have a 7 red AV. I would like to be able to eventually, at some point, fill out those 7 stars.
All right. Good point in that one. But getting Kestrel stars is not the worst thing. My point. All right. We did get an in-game message associated with this couple days ago with some information that was not in the blog post. The first thing, that Cull Obsidian no longer featured at a higher drop rate in premium orbs. He's purchasable now in the War Store. I've not seen him show up there. Remenek sent me a screenshot of him showing up there yesterday for him. So he's there. Did you notice this at all? Because I didn't notice this until yesterday when Remenek said, oh, he's there. I just skipped over this entire inbox message. Did you see this and notice that Cull was farmable in the War Store?
So I saw the data mines that he was going to go there before, so I was expecting. So whenever I did see the actual availability update in game, I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I covered the data mines in the weekly headliner this past week.
Nice.
So Cull being in the War Store, there are two things that I've always said about Cull. When he went to the premium orbs, I said he's not a premium orb character anymore. I don't know why you would put him in the premium orb.
Oh yeah, it was way after Black Order was like super necessary that they put him there. Yeah,
exactly. And then now Cull Obsidian is going to the War Store, where I don't care if you take out one character out of that War Store, you need to take out like 5 characters out of that War Store. There's a lot of stuff that they need to do in the War Store. I saw Blue Gear in there the other day. I'm like, why the hell is Blue Gear in the War Store? What are we doing?
Let's go look at the War Store because someone was taken off as Cull was added. Not described in the blog post, not described in his in-game message. More little details slipping through the cracks here. But man, this is taking a long time to load. I should have went to the war there. And yeah, casual alliance. It's fun being in a casual alliance. In the orb right now, we had Nobu get out. How important is that? Actually, there's no orb. I'm wrong about that. I was thinking the Blitz in the raid. There's no orb right here, but yeah, Nobu is out. How many characters do you think we need to be out of that store? Which minions, which crappy characters are still in that war orb or in that war store right now?
So is Shield Operative still there? I think Shield Operative is still in the war store.
They only announced that one of Nobu and was it Stitcher or Boomer? One of the Ravagers got out last time they added somebody in. So one of the Ravagers and Nobu got out. Everybody else I think is still in there.
Shield Op is still there, so that's one. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, although they're a good team. He's a good character on that team. Cable's there. You could take Cable out of that store. Like, he's a good character, but also he has a node. He doesn't need to be in the war store anymore at all. I
mean, if you're going to take Nobu out for that villain mystic controller for Phoenix, you could take Cable out and for that Doc Ock unlock. You don't. It's X-Force is Doc Ock, right?
X-Force is Doc Ock. Yep.
Okay, yes. For that Doc Ock unlock, you could take him out as well. Reduce that store. Make it just the valuable characters that we want. That way, if you look at this store right now, only 3 pop up at a time in the war store. That way, it's more valuable characters that are popping up in this war store. I mean, that's something that is said, that they indicated that they were doing earlier this year, just removing them. But I guess what they didn't say, they're removing that on a 1-to-1 basis. So get a lot more out of Nobu. It's good that Nobu got out. It's good that Cull's now farmable, but he hasn't been relevant for a little while now. So a little late. Cull is in, Nobu is out. They need to do more, but let's talk about this Milestones. It doesn't look like there's a character coming with this milestone. We had Symbiote Spider-Man before. We had Emma before. We've had Coulson. We've had Captain Marvel. It doesn't look like there's anybody for these new milestones. So maybe this is not going to be a release method for characters now. Today, they're changing some stuff. They're giving more orange elite fragments, armory, 14 and 15 orbs, ions, L3 training mats, in addition to orange purple gear. No character though. The milestone 2 orb is also being changed. Coulson they're adding a milestone 2 orb. They're removing the old milestone orb that is in the game now. So open that soon. We don't have a date on when it's going to be removed, but it will be removed. So don't let those go to waste. The character shards in there might not be that good, but there's some good gear and some good fragments in there. So open that. And that is it. We got a new high roller milestone coming as well, increasing the gold that you could spend and getting rewards up to 4 million from 2.7 million in anticipation of the the daily gold that we're getting increasing. Influx. That is the word. Yes. So with all of these changes that are described, do you think this goes far enough as far as the new milestones for increasing the let me ask that again. So as far as all of these things, hold on. Oh. So as far as these new milestones, do you think so as far as these new milestones not having a character in them, would you prefer another character being released this way, as like a high value character, like a Surfer or a Kestrel, or do you kind of like it just for gear, just like the normal milestones?
I'm actually fine with the gear. I don't necessarily hate the character release method. If you're kind of like managing your gold, you can save up and be able to use it for these gold milestone release characters. I typically only spend a certain amount of gold every day because I just know how scarce of a resource it is. Yeah. So the gear being added to it is fine. So this is like your daily milestones, right? I'm assuming that's what they're talking about with the recurring milestones. The high
roller where you got to spend gold, it's going up. And then just these normal rewards for, I guess, whatever was giving us our fragments for the milestone orb is changing.
Yeah, so save the world, which is like your campaign energy, like that stuff. I'm assuming that's what they're talking about with the recurring milestone.
Yeah, update. all these are changing, it looks like. And then the orb is changing as well.
Yes, I mean, I guess it's fine. I mean, I'm happy to be able to get the extra gear. But RNG is still RNG, so we have to see exactly what that really equates to. How does that really kind of increase the player base or the economy, right? We'll have to kind of take a look at that. With that being said, I mean, it's the high roller milestones. I could give two poops about that, man. I'm supposed to be excited about spending more gold. No, I'm going to try to make sure I reserve as much gold as I possibly can now, because they're releasing these characters in teams. And so I have to grab and get 3 new characters, 4 new characters, and then 3 new characters really for a team, and then upgrade them all. And now you're going to be increasing the level cap to 85. So I guess, you know, their idea was, since you're going to be bringing, there's some players who bring characters from 1 to 85 as soon as they're unlocked. So I guess they're saying, okay, we're going to give you some more stuff. If you do spend more than your 2.7 million per day, we're going to be giving you more stuff. But I mean, for me personally, I'm like, it doesn't really matter to me much. You're still, the end doesn't justify the means, right? You're still spending a lot of gold, but what you're getting back for spending that amount of gold is not that great in terms of rewards in the game. So overall, it's kind of just like whatever to me. Cool.
The milestones.
Milestones or whatever.
Personally, once in a while, there's once in a great while that I spend a lot of gold. Like usually it's on the character release days. So there's once in a while, these additional milestones will benefit me on a personal level. But there's like a certain amount of gold that you spend a day. I mean, the comment there is about 1 million a day. That'll give you enough to upgrade characters a little bit and still still build up your stores of gold orbs. Do you think that goes up to maybe 1.5 after we get this influx of gold into the economy? Do you think that goes up to 1.5, that you're safe to spend, that you're still getting a storage of your gold stuff? Or maybe that's a little lower, 1.2, 1.3. What number do you think that goes up to from that 1 million mark because of these milestones though?
Yes, I think safely you can probably spend maybe like 1.3. I mean, you'll probably be okay with the amount of gold that you're getting back on a averaging day by day basis, because not every day you're going to get 1.5 or 1.6 million gold, right? There's going to be some days where you don't have gold rush, but throughout the entirety of the week, for a stretch of time, you can average about 1 point. I think right now, because of the raids that I'm doing, the war level that I'm at right now, I'm getting about like 1.4, 1.5 average per day. But realistically, I'm still kind of just gonna hoard it or still limit myself, because I just don't. And I know what it's like to have 0 gold in this game and want to level things up and then not have it. I don't want to be at that place again. So I kind of just resource management everything.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. All right. We got 2 new legendaries coming out. Not new legendaries, but we had Magneto this week. We have Black Bolt coming next week. My question about these legendaries: are these still valuable characters? Magneto's fallen off a lot, although he's still pretty valuable in war, either on war offense with Full Brother 2.0 team or war defense with Doom. Black Bolt, his passive is still very important. The burp, the not be able to revive. Other than that, though, other than some war matches, how valuable are these characters nowadays? Would you still push for Black Bolt or still be pushing for Magneto at this point?
Yeah, definitely Black Bolt for sure. I would still push for him. You still get Ebony Maw, which is a great character in the game, I think. One of the top legendaries in the game, and also very viable for Dark Dimension and a few other areas, right? So I definitely would still push to get Black Bolt, because you need him to get Ebony Maw. And I still do think that situationally Black Bolt, there are some matchups in war right now where I have like a 7 red star Black Bolt, where I'll just bring him in against a team, and it's basically Black Bolt and friends, and they'll give me 1 war matchup win, right? So there's still value there. He's fallen off in a lot of other areas, though. Raids, he's not that good anymore. He's too slow unless you have Yo-Yo with him, so it doesn't necessarily carry the same weight. The burp is cool, but not that great. So I think Black Bolt's fallen off a tad bit, but I still do think that there are some matchups that you get in war where he is absolutely the right character that you want to use on your team, as maybe the top piece or maybe a secondary piece, just because of what he can do with his kit. Also, still, he can disrupt other summoners. So there's a lot of different things that you can get out of Black Bolt. And Ebony Maw, like I said, leads to that. Magneto, on the other hand,
he's still relevant in war. I'm talking other than war. Does he have any relevance?
He's very, very relevant in war, but it's just, are you gonna break are you gonna farm Mystique and farm these other characters to try to grab Magneto? By the way, you don't have to farm Mystique. There's other characters to farm it or bad. You can farm X-23 from the War Store, who will then eventually lead you to getting Doc Ock, right?
It's brother in X-Men, right?
Yeah, so
Mutants and
X-Men cat.
All right.
Yeah, she has an X-Men tag, so you can use her to farm. But so there's other characters that you can use to get Magneto. The point of the matter is you can organically get Magneto as opposed to target farming getting Magneto. And when you do get Magneto, he definitely can provide a lot of value for you, primarily only though in war, which is the reason why he's not like a tool that you have to try to force yourself to get. These other legendary characters are more plug and play.
Okay, so coming from a new player perspective, Magneto, unlock him, but don't push to unlock him.
Don't push. Yeah.
Okay. We got some blitzes coming up. Longshot is a good blitz. That's a fun one. We got Nebula coming up, so really good for newer players. But the one I want to talk to you about, I was so fun with this returns flash event of Chaos Theory, gold promo credits, silver promo credits. Are you saving or do you have any spending targets for the Chaos Theory that's coming back this week?
Yeah, I'm on the fence right now, man. I'm thinking about leveling up, upgrading Gamora. She's at 5 reds.
Okay.
And I'm thinking about upgrading her to 6, but I'm not quite sure if I need to do it. Like, it's sexy, right? It's a sexy move.
It's sexy.
But at the same time, it's like, does it really make that much of a difference in a matchup? I'm not really seeing it. I'm beating 7 red Gamoras right now in arena, so does it really matter? So I might just save it and not waste them. I think because I only have a 3 red Captain Sam, I'm probably gonna bank some of those silver promos too and try to get them up to 4 reds. And maybe 5 reds if as time goes on. But I think that's kind of what I'm thinking about with my promos. Is I'll probably save them for Cap Sam to maybe eventually get him to 5 reds. That's probably what I'm thinking about right now.
Okay, I look at my promo credits and my T4s a little differently. I ask myself if upgrading this character with the red stars or the T4 will allow me to do something that I'm not able to do in the game right now. I don't know if there's any characters that I have. The Infinity Watch, I don't have full red stars on all those characters, but they do enough in arena that I could win the matches, and they hold enough on defense that I'm not just getting, moving out of the top 10 to like 150 or 200. So I'm not falling super fast. So Infinity Watch is fine. Kestrel, Silver Surfer, I don't have the gold stars on them, so I have no justification to get the next red star. So I think I'm just gonna save. But normally, the 6 red Gamora, I did buy that one because I knew I was gonna be using Infinity Watch. So if it allows me to do something I'm not able to do, and if it's something I'm gonna be using a lot, like a T4 and a basic that may not be that good. If I know I'm using that basic all the time, I'm gonna put that T4 just for that little extra effect. Whereas a really good T4 or really good character that's really good for stars, I'm waiting if I'm not using them or if it's not giving me to the next level in the game. And that's kind of how I think about it. Let me know what you guys are gonna do with your silver and gold promotion credits with Chaos Theory. So a couple days ago, we got the winner announced of the Facebook poll. Nebula won, and this is a tweet that was sent out I guess a little while ago, back on June 8th, Nebula or Gamora for the upcoming Blitz. Obviously, it's Nebula won at 55% of the vote, but I did want to point out this. Can I have a Phyla Blitz instead? And that got 118 likes, more than the original post. So yeah, we want Phyla. Who would you rather have, Gamora or Nebula? If let's say from your newer account perspective, I'm assuming you have some good stars in them, but let's say you don't have either of them at 7 stars. Which one would you rather have?
It's a good question. I think I would prefer to have Nebula because farming shards in campaigns is tougher than, let's say, open up a couple Blitz Orbs where Gamora is right now. So I actually would prefer to get Nebula, and also I'm gonna do a Nebula Blitz and get some more Blitz Orbs, so I can just use those to get some Gamora stars. So I definitely prefer Nebula.
All right, so I think the rest of the community agree with you at 55% vote. So good that one. Let's talk about this though. You talked about data mines for Cull coming to the Blitz. This is a new one. Start flexing the might of the Heroes for Hire in the Gamma raids. Going forward, any Gamma raid 3 and 4 node that required the Defender trait will now also require the Heroes for Hire trait. No other traits restrictions will be affected by this change. So it seems like they're keeping the defender trait. They're just adding the heroes for hire trait. If that's how it is in game, and we never know with Scopely, a lot of times when messages, things got changed, even official messages like, oh, that's not how it's supposed to. So we don't know how it's going to work in game, but assuming it's going to work like that, defenders and heroes for hire, this is a good change, or would you want something even more, or is this satisfying for you? Let me ask it like that.
So I don't run the middle lane anymore in Gamma, so this is going from past experience. I do think that having Misty Knight there will be a little bit more helpful against that, especially against that Psylocke boss node. Because Psylocke, if you let her get her ult off, that could be a problem. So if I'm not mistaken, Misty Knight, she can ability block outside of war, right? Or I'm trying to remember exactly what she does.
Yeah, possibly. I didn't really look at their kits. I don't know the heroes for hire kits that much. I know they're annoying.
They're war defense teams. I mean, I know that she can do it in war. I'm trying to remember whether or not she can do it, or is it disrupt, outside of war. So I do think that there will be some help there, mainly for that boss node. It's really the boss node that's challenging. The rest of the nodes are fairly easy. So I do think that for the boss node, that definitely will be valuable and helpful. Going up against Psylocke. There is definitely probably more that they could do to make it a little bit easier. I think if they ever added like a military tag there, I think being able to use Punisher with defenders was one of the things that I would have been good, way back when, because I do think that Punisher would add a good amount of value there, especially being that he will still have that synergy right with Daredevil. So there's a lot of really good. I think having Punisher there would be good too, but I feel like this is something that could be helpful. Colleen Wing does do a good amount of damage. Misty Knight is a great controller character, so I do think that they will definitely. I think this will benefit the player base. I will say that.
Yeah, so just to answer your question, her special, she could apply stun and ability block. Her ultimate, she could apply ability block. That is outside of war. So she does have some pretty good moves that would be good for the raids. And she has 80% chance for ability block without the T4 on her basic as well. And she could always apply it if you put the T4 in there. So yeah, Misty has some really good raid skills. I think this is good. I like that they're adding trait requirements to nodes and not replacing them like they did with the Wakandans and what they did with the previous iteration of Gamma. But if it's just additive and not replacing, I like it. Adding more characters, giving us more characters to use on particular nodes is very, very good. But you know what time it is, brother. Ooh, it is spoiler time. We're going to talk about a few things that happened. We're going to talk about the Black Widow movie, and I didn't want to talk about it last week in case anybody didn't see it, but we've had 2 weekends now that it's been out, so hopefully you've watched the Black Widow. We're going to discuss that. We're also going to discuss Loki. The final episode aired last week, Wednesday, and I'm kind of going over a hangover right now with no MCU stuff to watch anymore, but we're going to discuss both of those. So spoiler, guys, we're going to discuss Black Widow first. If you've seen that, you're cool. If not, spoiler warning, and then we're going to discuss the Loki. So Black Widow. Oh my goodness. This was one of my favorite MCU movies in a while. This is the only MCU movie in a while. But what were your thoughts on it? How much did you enjoy this movie? I guess I'm assuming you enjoyed this movie. Did you enjoy this movie?
Yeah, I did, man. I really liked it. I thought Yelena stole the show for me. Yelena was the best. She was the best, man.
Her vest with all those pockets. You can store so much stuff.
Oh, her making fun of the pose with Black Widow. Oh man,
and you know which part I liked, and I don't think anybody's talking about it, when she eats that bar, it's like dry. Very dry, and she just moves on like, it is what it is. It's not making a big deal out of it. Her character is cool. It's just like the kick butt character. That's also just matter of fact. And then there's that sensitivity that she has as well. There's so many good elements of her character. Funny, the humor. Red Guardian. What do you think of Red Guardian, man?
Oh, I actually thought he was going to be a little bit of a letdown. And I also thought that they gave him the right amount of screen time too, honestly. They gave him the right amount of screen time, but he was hysterical as well. I felt that they could have done a little bit more to develop the storyline I think because it was a Black Widow movie, they were trying to kind of really, and I feel like they wanted to show more of the sister aspect as opposed to the Red Guardian, the dad figure. So I liked his character. I would just like to see a little bit more. I kind of felt the same way about him, and I felt about who was in the Captain of the Winter Soldier Falcon series. I'm trying to remember
Flag Smasher. Captain, the U.S. agent.
U.S. agent, right?
US
agent, there was a really good story with him, right? But I felt like they could have done so much more to expand upon the story, because I thought that was really cool. Like if they had gone back into his PTSD, I kind of felt the same way about Red Guardian, that if they had really explored. Because there was a moment of vulnerability that he shared where he was just like, I was just the muscle, and you could kind of tell that he had like some animosity about that, right? It would have been good to have them expand that storyline on him a little bit.
Well, let me ask you this: your thoughts on this? He says that he fought Captain America in the prison. The guy comes in and says, "Oh, he was in the ice," but then later he asked Yelena, "Hey, has Captain America talked about me?" Like he really met him. I mean, if he was faking that, why would he ask that question? So what do you think happened there? Do you think it's something with the multi-dimensional Steve going back and him actually meeting Red Guardian? Do you think it was one of these other variants? Because we met Isaiah Bradley and there were other members of that Captain America program. Do you think that he actually met Captain America? Because the prison scene would lead you to believe that he's lying. The scene with Yelena, Black Widow, asking about him, leads you to think that he was telling the truth in there. So where's your head leading right now as far as with Red Guardian and Captain America?
You know, honestly, you brought it up, and I had never thought about it before. Like it's really interesting to me now. I do think that I don't think it's a variant thing. I do think that he genuinely probably fought who he thought was Captain America. I don't know if he actually really. I don't know. It's hard, man.
I'd say that. I think he believes that he fought Captain America. Whether he actually did, what happened, how he did. I think he really believes that. I don't think he's lying about that. I think that's something that he thinks happens.
He thinks happened, but I don't know if it actually really happened. The timeline of it doesn't make any sense unless we're intertwining.
No. We got multi universes. The Falcon and Winter Soldier revealed that there's multiple Captain Americas out there, or potentially multiple ones out there.
Yeah,
he could be telling the truth. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, he could be.
Next question: Taskmaster. Did that disappoint you, or were you like, I don't care. It's cool. It's fine.
Like it's
being and for those, I'm specifically being Taskmaster being Dreykov's daughter and not Tony Masters like he was in the comics. Did that affect you at all?
I felt like that was probably the most disappointing part of the movie for me. Finding out that it was Dreykov's daughter, I'm like, if you're gonna do that, then let there be more of a story, right? Like it was just like they mentioned it kind of just matter of factly. That's all. Matter of factly. I didn't like that. Taskmaster is he's kind of a complex character, and I just felt like they just really dumbed down who Taskmaster is. Like I don't mind it being Dreykov's daughter, but give us a little bit more meat to the story. I was let down there.
Yeah, I was thinking it was someone that was learning with, and not based on robotics and machine implants. Yeah. That part disappointed me a little more than the actual who the character is behind the mask. But here's the thing. I saw something that said, you know what? Because it's based more on a suit, you could actually have other people be the Taskmaster because it's based on a suit. So after I saw that, I'm like, whatever. It's fine. That leads to more stories for them, or potential more stories. So from that sense, I didn't mind that as much. All right, I did want to discuss more about the Black Widow movie, but the time is going on. So let's move on to Loki, and we may discuss. There's so much to discuss about that movie. Let's discuss Loki very quickly because I know you have to go and you're not feeling well. Series finale. We got to meet, and again, spoilers, guys, in case you haven't seen the full series, we got to meet our boy that I think a lot of people were suspecting, Kang. Although I don't know if it was officially Kang. It was a variant of Kang, but it may just be the He Who Remains or Immortus or something like that. How excited were you when you saw Jonathan Majors appear on screen?
Oh, I was. I was watching it with my daughter. I was watching it with all the kids were there. Yeah. And my wife was there, and I was like, he came on the screen, and I grabbed my beard. I said, "Oh my god! Oh my god!"
And the theories are right. The theories are right.
Yes. And she was just like, "What's going on? What's going on?" I'm like, "I can't tell you now. I can't tell you now. Let's just watch. Let's just watch. Let's just watch. I can't tell you now."
I had the same reaction, like, it's Kang, it's Kang. Like, everybody in the family, like, who's Kang? What is that? Who is Kang? What does that mean?
It was so well done. And I watched, I like processed it after. I'm like, did I really just sit down and watch this man talk? For this episode was talking for about 30 to 40 minutes. Very, very minimal action. But I was just glued to my seat. I could not move. It was just so fascinating to me.
Everything he said. Writing. Everything he said. I was like, whoop.
Great. The entire series, phenomenal writing. It's my favorite by far right now. I felt Captain and Winter Soldier. I felt like that it started off really good and then tailored off towards the very end, like really tailored off towards the very end. WandaVision was cool. It was interesting, and I wasn't disappointed at all. But it was good. But when Loki, oh my goodness, just everything intertwining, bringing it together. The stories that they're expanding on. The multiverse is one of the most fascinating things in the comics. So I really love this.
This is a huge setup for so many things. Obviously, Quantumania, because Kang is the big bad guy in Quantumania, the Ant-Man and Wasp movie. Also has some related relations to the Multiverse of Madness, the Doctor Strange movie, which also has some ties to the Scarlet Witch character as well. So a lot of implications from this, and possibly even that Spider-Man movie that we have coming out from Sony. A lot of movies potentially affected by this, probably affected by this. Let me ask you about the mid-credit scene. Loki season 2 coming. What do you think happened to the TVA? Kang, the Kang version, not the He Who Remains, not the Immortus. Kang looks like he's in charge of the TVA based on the statue that we seen at the end of the episode. What are you expecting for season 2, brother?
This is so I don't know how they're gonna do this, right? Because the movies. So I don't know when they're going to come out with another Loki, the second season of Loki.
It's probably before Quantumania, because it's supposed to be released late next year. So there's a lot of time between that. It's before Quantumania is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So I'm thinking. I'm sorry, I was staring off because I'm like I'm trying to like think about. So I feel like maybe. There gotta be some sort of tie-in to like an Avengers team, right? Like that's what I'm feeling. So I feel like maybe, or it could be right after Avengers, but I feel like we're so far away from that though that they gotta bring back Loki 2 before then, right? I don't know. Yeah. I gotta develop my thoughts on it a little bit more, man, because I feel like what's happening is that. I'm going back. I'm reading the comics. I'm seeing how the multiverse worked. I'm trying to figure out how does Doctor Strange and Wanda fit into this whole thing? When is that going to unravel? My brain is on overload.
You know what? Let's just make it simple. It's Mephisto. It's Mephisto all along.
It could very well be Mephisto. This could be what it's leading up. But I'm confused though. So is Kang more powerful? So I know Kang is more powerful than Thanos. Not stronger, but more powerful than Thanos. I understand that.
Kang is so powerful, he keeps his Infinity Stones in a drawer and uses them paperweights for his stuff. That's how much stronger than Thanos he is, right? So what yes.
I'm trying to figure out how powerful it is.
Oh, Mephisto. I have no idea. I just remember that was the explanation for everything in WandaVision. So that was my dad joke going over that. I don't know. Anyway, no worries. I don't know if it was a bad joke or you're sick. It may be a combination of both. I don't know.
It could be a combination of delirium at this point. That's probably what it is.
Goofy, It has always been a pleasure. I know you need some rest. I'm not going to keep you any longer. It is always a pleasure talking to you, though. Let everybody know where they can find you and if you have anything to promote before you go, though, brother.
Yeah, guys. So you can find me over GoofyRhexxi, Twitch, Facebook. No, I don't know why I say.
Do you have a Facebook account?
I do have a Facebook, but I barely talk about it. But it's there. Okay. It's there. Twitter, GoofyRhexxi on YouTube, everywhere. Guys, just find me. Biggest thing that I do, I guess, weekly headliner update Mondays. I always throw those out there. Talk about the things that are upcoming this week, and the things from recapping the topics from the previous week, the most important ones. So check those out, guys. Really enjoy doing those videos, and soon we'll start having some guests on those videos again.
Nice.
Forward.
I was on one of those. Yeah. It's different.
Yeah,
it's different than the update. We talk about what happened the previous week. This is what's coming up this week. So it's a little different. I like that take on it. And it was fun joining that show with you. Just let me know when you want to be back. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining us on the video, your YouTube version. Thank you for joining us on the podcast version. Make sure you leave a like, leave a good rating wherever you are, with whether it be a thumbs up on YouTube or a 5-star on whatever podcast platform you're listening to. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you check out some of my other videos and check out some of my other links. All those sponsors are support the channel, guys, and I like all of them. Goofy, you know what to do. Give me that fist bump before you go, brother. Oh yeah, GoofyRhexxi and ValleyFlyin out. Have a great day, guys. Do you think we're getting Iron Lad coming? Or we're getting more Kangs, or the Egyptian Kang coming? What do you think's happening? We get the Loki.